Hey you guys, happy Sunday. I want to discuss a book called In My Daddy's Belly. It is by an author by the name of Logan Brown. It is a children's book and it is life inspired. Now, I actually looked at some comments based on this book, and of course, there were some really awful comments, but there were some people that welcomed this book and is glad that this book was even made. And this isn't the only book. This is just the first one that I saw people speaking about, but there were several books like it. And there's a need for these books when the way the family dynamic is now is very different. So I guess there is a definite need for this book. I mean, yeah, I could always go back to when I was a child. My author was Dr. Seuss, and it was what, Redfish, Bluefish, and ABC 1, 2, 3. And this is what we were taught when we were younger. This was part of our teaching, how to say our alphabets and how to, you know, um, know our numbers by Dr. Seuss helped out a lot. So I take it that these books, because the family dynamics has changed, will be helping a lot of people. Now, if you do choose to comment, please, clean it up. Um, there's people that are going through this right now and or know people that are going through this right now, so we just don't need any of that type of stuff on this channel. There are other channels. I saw two or three other creators that did cover this topic. They might welcome, all kind of stuff in their comments, but I just, you know, rather you not say anything um, if you can't say anything decently, okay? So, again, this book is true life inspired, and the opinions in this video is just clearly mine. Now, they are saying that it's not a transgender book, but it clearly is. When I was growing up and learning about life in the world, I was taught that only females can give birth to babies. Males are a part of the process, a big part, but they cannot carry or give birth to that baby. And I personally have no problems with people who feel that they were born in the wrong bodies. I mean, I'm glad that I know exactly who I am, and I never had to go through anything like that. And I can't imagine wanting to be something that, I wasn't born. So I think if you're old enough to make a big decision like that, because to me it is really big, then that's up to you. A biological male can get breast implants, makeshift vagina, Adam's apple removed, get their, hairline, transformed. But you can't give birth to a baby. And a biological female can have her breast removed, take hormones, grow facial hair, get a deeper voice, but they still have their reproductive system inside their body. So, yes, in that case, daddy can have a baby. Now, I know, gay people are in my family, and I personally know gay people, male and female, and none of that ever mattered to me. But no matter how you swing it, only biological females can carry a baby to term. And while we're on the subject, okay, cisgender, I don't like being called cisgender. I am a biological female, and I had given birth to a child. I just would prefer being called a biological female, not cisgender. I don't like to be labeled. This when I was a kid and I grew up, I was called a girl, then a young lady, and now I'm a grown woman. You know, I don't want to hear cisgender now that I got to, as the kids say, this big old age. I'm not cisgendered. I'm a female, a grown woman, but a female. Okay? So I don't care what kind of science experiments that the government will decide to do in the future and are doing now. I mean, you have to be a female. I remember years ago, there was a story, and it was a big headline, first man to give birth. And he was on talk shows everywhere. He was definitely on the National Enquirer because I believe that's where I saw his picture at first, and his name was Thomas Beating. He was married to a woman, his wife Nancy, and she could not give birth. We later would find out that Thomas was born Tracy and was impregnated through artificial insemination and had given birth to a baby girl in 2008. Okay, so that kid is probably what? 17, 18 years old now. And Nancy is, I had to look it up, a biological female. She had children prior, but in this circumstance, for some reason, Thomas had to carry the child. And they said when Thomas was like in his 20s, he had a reversal so he can be able to carry this child, is what I did read. So that's why I think it was a big deal, because he had actually had the surgery to be a male, and then when his wife could not conceive, he had to change it back. That is what I read. So I think that's why Thomas' story was so controversial in this, because otherwise it's just, a female who is trans male having this child. So often we hear about stories that are so shocking until we find out it's not shocking at all. It doesn't matter how you dress it up, color it, remove it, add it. DNA will always tell you who you are.
Only girls can be the mommies. Only boys can be the daddies. Yes, sir. Everybody's fancy. Everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine.